Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. Still no charges in a local hit and run, and a long-time business owner is closing their doors at Oxford.
Stay tuned. Learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. Charges are yet to be determined for the hit-and-run driver who killed a 26-year-old Lake Orion girl earlier this month. Jordan Puckett was walking on Drainer Road at night when she was hit by a 19-year-old man and then left on the side of the road. The day after the accident, the man turned himself into the police, telling them that he thought he hit a deer but could not find it when he went back to check the scene. Friends last week turned out for a huge tribute at the location where her body was found. She was described by friends as a loving, caring, and ambitious young lady who was able to earn a bachelor's degree and planned to pursue a master's degree in psychology. Police are searching for anyone who may have information pertaining to the accident. Since charges have not been brought, the young man's name has not been released. OCTV will continue to follow the story.
After 44 years in Oxford, Tom Toduff of Tom's Hardware is calling it quits. He says he's not financially pressed to get rid of the business, but simply believes after working most of his life 7 days a week, he says it's time to have time to do other things. The business was originally started by his father, and at one time they had 4 other locations. The current building is now up for sale with a closing pending. Tom is not completely retiring, though. He plans to sell paddle boats and his patented invention for securing and transporting dirt bikes, motorcycles, and snowmobiles. For those of you who might be interested, the product invention's name is Fast Track.
Edison Township resident and 19-year past Deputy Supervisor Deanna Burns Cushing said she plans to run for a trustee position. Cushing has a degree in accounting from Rochester College and feels that she will be able to assist in developing budgets.
Oxford Parks and Recs recently organized a mother-son dance at the Devil's Ridge Golf Club, and like the daddy-daughter dance, it was a complete success. There were food and refreshments and, of course, lots of dancing fun. Surprisingly, the young men were not shy about showing off their dance skills, and the moms were quite smitten.
A woman entered the North Lapeer Myers store toting an infant car seat and a large carrying bag. Upon leaving the store, a security detection system alerted security that unpaid product was leaving with her. Store security reviewed video security tape and discovered the woman hiding over $1,000 in liquor from the shelves. Employees recognized the woman on video as someone who had previously been caught with items from the same store. Sheriff's officers reviewed the video, found the woman's address from the previous theft, and a warrant was issued for her arrest.
A routine accident on M24 landed the uninjured driver in jail. The Oxford Township man was wanted on a warrant from Tawas, Michigan. He will be transported back to Tawas.
A resident living on Trillium Trail in Oxford started her car to warm it up and went back into the house. When she went to the car later, she was shocked to find an elderly woman sitting in the vehicle. With that surprise, the resident called 911. When officers arrived, they found the newly found passenger to be disoriented and shaking. To determine the woman's health, officers contacted the Oxford Fire Department. EMTs soon arrived to analyze the woman's condition. After lengthy questioning, the woman revealed the name and address of her daughter. When the daughter was called, and she told police her mom had Alzheimer's and apparently was able to escape unnoticed during the night. Firefighters gladly returned the woman to safety of her daughter. Well, that's nice.
I love our EMTs in Oxford area. Gosh, isn't that a good, happy ending?
They do such a good job.
Yeah,
The police
really
department too, you know,
Yeah.
great job in responding.
Yeah.
That's nice that nothing happened to the
Yes.
little lady.
And the weather's been warm lately.
Yeah.
Happy spring, everybody, by the
Springtime.
time we air this. So that probably helped a lot, too, that she was able to stay warm in that
Yeah.
running car.
Right. Well, I want to talk a little bit about volunteering. Possibly, you know, if you provide, you can. If you think that you folks out there can provide some assistance, you know, to your local
Right.
government. You know, the elections are coming up soon. Matter of fact, one of the primaries is in August. There are seats on the township board that are available. Of course, the existing people, you got the township supervisor, the clerk and treasurer, and of course trustee positions on the township level.
That's in the Oxford Township, but also Addison Township.
Yep.
There's some room there. If you don't have time to invest in these meetings, because it is important, if you're going to volunteer and be elected to be on these boards, you better be prepared to do a lot of reading before you make your decisions. That's one
Yep.
thing that I've always had a complaint about. You can see sometimes the trustees just don't understand what's going on because they haven't read the packet.
Yep.
But if you don't have time for that, Parks and Recs always needs volunteers. You
They
said
do.
something
yeah.
was coming up at
Seymour Lake,
Park.
festival is coming up,
Right.
you know, this summer.
In July, right?
Yeah,
That's
and they
right.
could use lots of help because, you know, that is quite a thing that they put on.
Oh, that's
they
a great
have
one.
bands and
And they have farmers market kind
Yes.
of flea market kind of thing. Yeah, I'm
It's a
excited
lot of
for all
fun.
the events that are coming up around here.
And you know what's a lot of fun? I think the people that volunteer, I see them, they're having a lot of fun because they're driving these little cars around.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You know, you mentioned elections. I no longer can vote in Oxford, and I was
Oh.
telling my husband as we were walking in Brandon, I don't like doing that because in Oxford I'd walk in and see all kinds of people that I knew. I knew all the volunteers. I knew the people standing
Yeah.
in line, and I was really not looking forward to voting in Brandon. And I happened to walk in, saw the fire chief, who I had known because I was a reporter out there.
Right.
Then I saw Susan Nasser, our village clerk, and my neighbor. So all kinds of people were volunteering to get that voting done. So there's all kinds of things you can do in your community to
Well, as you know,
volunteer.
I work at the precinct. My wife does another
Yeah,
precinct right
right.
across from me. But
Thank you for
Yeah,
your
you're
service.
welcome. And but I do want to say that there's people in our township that really did a superb job. And
Yeah,
starting with
bravo.
Curtis Wright as a
Yeah.
clerk, fantastic. I mean, the guy is very knowledgeable. He set up all the precincts. There's Susan McCullough, who without
Oh, yeah.
having
Oh,
her
gosh.
there would be a problem. And
Yeah.
Kelly Richter. I mean, those people do an outstanding job. Just know that, folks,
Yeah,
that from on the inside, I
Yeah.
see it.
And then Pauline and
Yep.
her crew over into Addison Township,
Yes.
and Susan Nasser and everybody in the village. Bravo to
Yeah,
all of
good
you.
job.
Thank you for doing that. And you are watching Oxford News This Week. If you want to learn more about these stories and others, stop by your local store and pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper, or better yet, catch us right here at Charter Channel 199 or AT&T Channel 99.
And coming up on OCTV Oxford Sports with Jamie Hughes, and catch Oxford School News with John Ochins. And don't miss Auto Talk and Science in the News with Dave Kenny.
I'm Terry Stiles, and this is Oxford News This Week, where your news is closer to home.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors. And thanks for watching.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, it has taken a while, but Europe and Russia are going back to Mars. By March 14th, that is, the ExoMars Trace Gas Orbiter, or TGO, should have blasted off from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan aboard a Proton rocket. Its mission? To understand the planet's atmosphere and search for signs of biological and geological activity. Assuming all goes to plan, the craft will arrive on the red planet by October 19th. It carries a small lander called Schiaparelli that will touch down on the surface, giving the European Space Agency and Roscosmos much-needed landing practice for a future ExoMars rover due to launch in 2018. Connecting gases in the air to their origin on the surface is key to figuring out whether Mars is as dead as it seems, and TGO's top priority is methane. The gas breaks down in sunlight after a few hundred years, meaning that any found on Mars must have been produced recently, either by active volcanoes or gas-belching microbes. If there is methane, it needs to be supplied continuously from somewhere, says project scientist Håkan Svedum. Whatever TGO finds, don't expect results straight away. Although the spacecraft will likely snap some pictures and make a few measurements to confirm everything is still working after its interplanetary trip, the mission's actual science phase won't start until the end of 2017. That's because the probe reaches Mars traveling at thousands of kilometers per hour and has to spend about a year slowing down by gently grazing the atmosphere, a process called aerobraking. ESA has had practice to run this in 2014 with its Venus Express craft just before that mission came to an end. We've got quite a good experience now from doing it with Venus Express, says Fedham. First, ExoMars must actually get off the ground. The mission has a 12-day launch window should weather and other issues delay efforts at launch time, but Svendam is feeling positive they won't need it. We're quite confident that it will work out, he says. Everything really looks very good now. Everything is ready now, and we think we will really go on the 14th. Good luck. And on the medical front, when you're fighting a urinary tract infection, you might not want to dwell on the details of what's going on down there. But there's been a long-standing mystery about these common infections. How do the offending bugs manage to climb up into your bladder without being flushed out when you pee? The answer is that they can grip tightly to the body's cells whenever they feel the force of urine flowing past. When urination stops, the mechanism releases and the bacteria carry on moving upwards to further into your body. The discovery is useful because it means that the urinary tract infections could be treated without antibiotics. Drugs that target this machinery would not kill the microbes, just stop them from hanging on. So they should be less likely to provoke resistance, said David Brown of the charity Antibiotic Research in the UK, who was not involved in the study. About half of all women experience urinary tract infections at some point in their lives, and men can get them too. They are usually caused by E. coli from feces reaching the urethra, the tube that connects the bladder to the outside of the body. We already know that E. coli can grip to human cells using hair-like appendages that have tiny protein hooks on their tips. But until now, no one had worked out how the structure of this protein, called FIMH, is, or how it interacts with the human cells. The hooks are made by interlinking chains of FIMH, which are difficult, that is, to pull apart into separate protein molecules without altering their structure. Now researchers in Switzerland have managed to isolate individual FIMH molecules for the first time, allowing them to investigate the protein's physical properties. They found that when FIMH is pulled by tensile forces, as it would be during urination, the protein responds by gripping tightly to the sugar molecules that grip the surface of human cells. That makes it hard to flush out, says Tim Mayer of the University of Basel. When urination stops and the force disappears, the protein releases its grip and the bacteria can advance up to the bladder, a cozy home with a more stable temperature and pH than the urethra, where it causes cystitis. Antibiotics are the best treatment for cystitis, but antimicrobial resistant UTIs are a growing problem. In the UK, antibiotic resistance is relatively rare, affecting only about 2 to 10% of all infections treated with antibiotics. But widespread resistance to several types of antibiotics has been reported in UTI-causing microbes. In some countries, resistance to E. coli is so widespread that UTIs are effectively untreatable. Targeting the bacteria's grappling hooks could get around this problem, and the team is currently testing new drugs that block FIMH in animals, and good luck with that. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television, and we'll be right back.
I'm John Ochins, and welcome to the Oxford Wildcats School Update. It was a big weekend for Oxford Robotics team Torque 2137. They made it through the semifinals in Waterford, number 2 out of 39 teams. Juniors Nicholas Holmes and Zach Spencer tell us more.
Yeah, we feel very good. I think we did a lot better than we were expecting coming in today. We're very happy with how we did. I think that we'll be very well set to have a great run later on in the season into the World Championship.
Any big disappointments today?
We didn't go quite as far as we wanted to. We got really far. We were really successful. We were really lucky with Alliance Partners. They were awesome. I want to say thank you to all you guys. You guys were awesome. We had a really good day today. You can't expect to win everyone, so it was a good day.
So where did you end up today? First, second, third.
We ended up ranking second in our qualifications, and then we finished we won quarterfinals, and we got to the third match in best 2 out of 3 in semifinals.
In addition, the kids won the Excellence in Engineering Award and the Pit Safety Award. Next semifinal is in Marysville in a couple of weeks, and it looks like it'll be on to states from there. A number of our high school groups are joining forces for a big project to help our local seniors. It's called Oxford Gives Back. Casey Wright and Jacinta Hogan tell us more.
So Oxford Gives Back is a project that Oxford High School is adopting primarily. It's going to be available to everyone in the Oxford community, but we are promoting it first through Oxford High School. We are going to be adopting all the senior citizens in the Oxford area who need help with their spring cleanup. So we are going to be raking, weeding, planting, mulching, things like that, just to kind of show them how appreciated they are and that they're not forgotten.
And the neat part about this is that it involves more than just one group in this school. A lot of you folks are getting together, right?
Yeah.
How many groups you got involved in this?
We have over 7 clubs involved.
And how many houses are you hoping to take care of with this?
Around 25. When we started, we were thinking about 5 to 10, but we've gotten a lot of responses.
Okay, and when will this happen?
This is going to be the weekend of April 23rd and 24th.
So, do you need people to help out?
Yes, we are looking for volunteers. Doesn't matter how young or old you are. Some of the tasks are a little bit harder, some are easy, but we really need a lot of people to help out. We need over 250 people.
As many volunteers as possible. Like, we can take people from like Gorian, Lapeer, anybody who's willing to help out.
Yes.
So how do they volunteer? What do they have to do?
There's going to be a sign up on the Oxford Schools website, also on their Facebook page for anyone to reach it.
By the way, the name of this mega group is the Breakfast Club. OHS Principal Todd Dunkley got it started.
Actually, it wasn't called the Breakfast Club originally. This idea started when I assumed the principalship. I began to pull leaders from various groups in the building just to get feedback and input on how to improve things, wanted what was working, what wasn't working, and wanted to activate their voice. Over a couple of years, we began to activate our voice, and we then started pulling only members of groups that existed on a foundational mission of serving others. So it had come to, we've got members of the Link Crew, NHS, Student Leadership, SAD, and I'm third. And that could change over time. We meet monthly. We come together and put together our plans to embed ideas that involve students of all walks of life in the school, and to organize our efforts for a greater good rather than isolated islands doing different things. We thought we had more power.
Be sure to check that out and volunteer if you can. And finally, a shout out to Peggy Mueller Super Singers. They got a little footloose at a recent Pistons game. Have a listen. That's the Oxford School Update for this week. This is Oxford Community Television, keeping it local.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, BMW's factory in Spartanburg, South Carolina is the brand's biggest plant in the world, and it will become even larger when a $1 billion expansion is completed this year, bringing annual capacity to 450,000 vehicles. Last year, it built a record 400,904 vehicles, topping that of any of its factories in Germany, BMW says. More than 280,000 crossovers made in Spartanburg were exported. We are very fortunate that years ago the company decided to go to the United States and build a plant at a time when everyone was withdrawing, says Ludwig Willisch, CEO of BMW North America. It was not only a brave move, but it shows how right the move was. It was a big, important footprint for us. Good move. And in Canada, Canadians may be purchasing cars they cannot afford, having been lured onto an auto debt treadmill by offers of long-term loans with lower monthly repayments but higher overall interest, the federal consumer watchdog warned on March 8th. The warning adds to concerns that record-high consumer debt and hot home prices in parts of the country could pose a risk to Canada's economy and financial system. Similar warnings about risks in auto lending have been made over the past 2 years in the United States, fueled by concerns about lenders' willingness to lengthen terms and chase borrowers with lower credit scores while offering loans that exceed the value of the vehicle. The Financial Consumer Agency of Canada said auto loans with terms of more than 6 years have become a trend in Canada, posing risks that consumers should consider carefully before financing a deal. It said the loans are costly for borrowers who must pay interest for a longer period of time than the 5 years that would traditionally be the case. The FCAC said in a statement that long-term loans are especially expensive for consumers with low credit scores who may be subject to higher interest rates. It warned some borrowers were buying new cars before their existing loans were fully paid off, rolling over their debt into a new loan and stepping onto what it called the auto debt treadmill. Wow. And at Fiat Chrysler Automobile said it would extend the shutdown of its midsize Chrysler 200 sedan plant for 3 weeks, keeping it idle for a total of 9 weeks. The plant in Sterling Heights, Michigan, which was shut February 1st, will be closed until April 4th, a Fiat Chrysler spokeswoman said. The plant had earlier been scheduled to return to production on March 14th. In late January, CEO Sergio Marchionne said Fiat Chrysler would stop making the Chrysler 200 as well as the compact Dodge Dart made in Belvidere, Illinois. He said he is looking for a partner to outsource the production, but so far no suitor has emerged. The company spokeswoman said the additional weeks of shutdown of the Sterling Heights plant were to match supply with demand. Demand for midsize cars has shrunk as gasoline prices have fallen and U.S. consumers continue to show a preference for small SUVs, also known as crossover vehicles, in lieu of sedans. And at Lincoln, when the Lincoln Continental was reborn and begins rolling off the assembly line this summer in Flat Rock, Michigan, most of the output is likely to be destined for dealers halfway around the world. The sedan's long wheelbase and spacious rear seat, complete with a chauffeur button to create even more room to stretch out in the back, shows the Chinese consumers were the top of mind during its development. But even more telling about Lincoln's level of commitment to making the Continental a success in China are subtle tweaks that include the feel of the leather seats and even the smell of the cars headed there. Lincoln is giving the leather in Continentals going over in China to a tighter feel because it discovered that thick plush seats that Americans prefer are seen as sloppy in the eyes of Chinese consumers. And while the cars make their long oceanic voyage, carbon sheets placed inside absorb the smell that draws Americans into new cars but repels the Chinese buyers. And the car will have a 2-liter engine only for China. Those seemingly minor changes can be critical in the early years of a brand's foray into the world's largest vehicle market. In the past, many automakers setting their sights on China's fast-growing middle and upper class fail to understand cultural nuances that play into car buying there. The Lincoln Continental's roomy rear seat, which has a chauffeur button to create even more room to stretch out in the back, shows that pleasing Chinese consumers was a priority during development. Well, that's all for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television, and we'll be right back.
Oxford Orient Fish helps provide emergency aid to the people of Oxford, Ligorian, Addison, and Oakland Townships. One of the only self-served food banks in the state, Oxford Orient Fish provides once-a-month food supplies based on the size of the family. To donate, volunteer, or to find out more, call Oxford Orient Fish at 248-628-3933 or go to their website, oxfordorientfish.org. Oxford Orient Fish, neighbors helping neighbors.
Welcome to your weekly calendar of events, where we feature a weekly calendar of local Oxford and Addison community events, including charity special fundraisers and general community information. Now, if your organization would like help to get your message out to the public, contact us for detailed information at our studio phone number at 248-628-9658, or you can go to our website at occtv.org. If you're in need of alterations or repairs on your clothing, please remember the Sisters of Mount Tabor in Ortonville. The Sisters can take care of your sewing needs at a very fair price. For information, call 248-627-4355. The good sisters spend a large portion of their day, however, in prayer, so if no one answers, please leave a message. The Oxford Lions Club is sponsoring a $500 scholarship for graduating 2016 high school seniors who live within the Oxford School District and attend either public or private school. To be eligible, students must have a 2.0 or better grade point average and plan to attend a 2 or a 4-year college or an established trade school after graduation. Applicants must also have community service hours. Applications are available at the Oxford High School Counseling Office and at the Oxford Public Library. March 26th at 1 p.m. sharp, have your children ages 2 through 9 of age join in on all the fun at the Easter Bunny Bonanza. It will be at Seymour Lake Park. There will be an Easter egg hunt as well as a ping pong ball drop provided by the Easter Bunny's helicopter. Didn't know they had one, huh? Every child will receive a special gift. You must order your tickets in advance, of course, so don't miss out. Get your tickets now for only $10 for non-residents and $8 for residents. Call 248-628-1720. To prevent the Zika virus from being carried by certain mosquitoes, Oakland County is taking steps to monitor and combat the virus, should it show itself in Oakland County. Starting in June, the Health Department will start mosquito monitoring. They will share information with you, the public, about prevention. Don't be overly concerned, however. It's not for sure that the mosquito will make its way to Michigan. However, County Executive Brooks Patterson wants to make sure that the county is well prepared. The Oxford Public Library has all kinds of activities and events going on each and every month. Events for children, events for adults, and many of the programs are free. To check it out, go to their website, miopl.org, and click on the calendar of events. There you will find a listing of all the fun and educational programs for the month. The Oxford Pregnancy Center, located in downtown Oxford, provides compassion and services for women facing unplanned pregnancies living in Oxford, Orion, and surrounding area. Remember, regardless of age, race, and income, the services are free and confidential. Say, did you know that you can adopt a park? And if by doing so you can help your parks be safe, clean, and beautiful. Your help will support the environment, your community, and quality of life. For more information, visit the Parks and Recreation website at oxparkrec.org. Now, if you own a local business, if you are a local resident, or if you represent an organization wishing to show your support for our local Oxford schools, sports, music, concerts, or any of the many programs broadcast by our TV station, you could become a sponsor or an underwriter on OCTV. The promotional spot will be created just for you and recognition given to you by our sports announcers during the special event. It's easy and it's inexpensive. For more information, contact the TV station manager, Bill Service, at 248-628-9658, or you could send a message of interest to Bill's email address, manager@occtv.org. We at Oxford Community TV would like our television viewing public to learn more about your club or organization's special upcoming event or charity. So if you would like to get your special event mentioned on our television show, just call us at 248-628-9658 or go to our website, occtv.org. Just one final reminder. You can locate our OCTV program schedule by going to our website, occtv.org, and clicking on Schedule. There, you will find a list of OCTV programs, dates, and times, and one program I recommend is Bill Service, who always has interesting local stories and interviews on his our community access program. Just check it out. This is Oxford Community Television, OCTV. I'm your host, Elgin Nichols, and we invite you to join us again for the next segment of your weekly calendar of events.